That's what I believe got him reelected, is the people knew that you could believe what he said. Well, it's a repressive.
Our country is strong.
How many people want it? I don't know.
We go forward to defend freedom, all that is good and just in our world.
We have faith in our leaders. We're optimistic as to what becomes of it all. It really boils down to our ability to accept.
If you want a vision of the future, imagine a boot stamping on a human face forever.
It's really sad that we even have to have a debate about whether or not waterboarding is torture. And it's really sad that even if torture were an effective means of extracting information, that the once proud and great nation of the United States has now so absolutely fallen that these kind of practices are even considered to be used. And of course, you know, it's always the road to hell, paved with good intentions, paved with the desire to accomplish safety and security that are always used on the people to bring them into evil. And that is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. You can obfuscate the issue, you can argue it with any kind of lawyerly hypothetical that you wish to. You know, what if a nuclear bomb is going to go off and you have to torture somebody to get the information out of them? It doesn't matter that all of our interrogators from World War II, that the FBI, the intelligence agencies, except for the ones that are practicing it, have all repeatedly said it is an unreliable method for getting intelligence. And where does the slippery slope end? You know, you begin by interrogating and torturing one man, and then you're suddenly torturing his family because possibly they've given information, he's given information to them. So where does it end, and what do we become? What evil do we become in attempting to fight evil? And of course, that's the mantra that they practice. We have to be more evil and ruthless than evil. We have to extinguish evil, become evil to extinguish evil. Well, no, I say, in the words of Dr. Martin Luther King, darkness cannot put out darkness. Only light can do that. And only by the example that we set, the courage of our convictions, the courage of our brave men in the military, in the intelligence apparatus, by doing their best and upholding their moral standards, will humanity ever find its freedom from the continuing cycles of degradation, destruction, the madness and power and corruption that have dominated it throughout history. So, you know, of course, the big story this week, Agent, waterboarding okayed at the top. This was a policy made at the White House with concurrence from the National Security Council and the Justice Department. And why is that important? It's important to illustrate the fact that torture is being directed from the highest offices of the land. The instruction to torture, to use torture as an interrogation method, has come directly from the top. All right, so that's the first point we have to make. Now, what is waterboarding?
It's like drowning. Well, you're drowning. You feel you're drowning. And they told me, as I explained, when you want to talk, to speak, move your fingers. And I decided not to move anymore my fingers. So I fainted. And the first thing one of the officers said, don't think you can faint. Always, we have other methods. They started again. They started once, twice, and I've felt each time that it was like, you were strangled by death itself.
You know, and it's just, it goes on and on. What are we becoming? What is the United States becoming? Why do we even consider inflicting torture for whatever means? What do we become when we engage in these kind of actions? We have lost, and we will continue to lose, all moral superiority as long as we continue to engage in these kinds of barbaric practices. If you went and found one of the founding fathers, or you went back 50 years, nobody would even consider this as being a legitimate public practice. It might have happened in the back rooms, unsanctioned. But you come out as a society and say, and then just the mind games of saying that it's not torture, it's an enhanced interrogation technique. I mean, that's a complete joke. The idea that it's not torture, the idea that drowning someone, simulated death, is not torture. Tactics that were used by the Gestapo, by the Japanese secret police, by the Inquisition. I mean, would Jesus waterboard anybody? So the fact that we're even considering this, having to debate this, becomes absolutely ridiculous. And then it gets even into more frightening aspects of where we're going and what's happening. Now, one of the things that has not been publicly revealed, other than by Seymour Hersh, one of the most respected journalists in the Western world, the man that literally broke the Abu Ghraib prisoner abuse scandal, is that in fact the worst elements of the Abu Ghraib scandal have not even been made public. We are talking about the rape of children, the rape of women, the sodomization of men with batons coated in battery acid. I mean, this has happened. I mean, again, Google Seymour Hersh. You'll find out who Seymour Hersh is if you don't already know. And then listen to this quote by Seymour Hersh. Some of the worst things that happened you don't know about. Videos. There are women there. Some of you may have read that they were passing letters out, communications out to their men. This is at Abu Ghraib. The women were passing messages out saying, please come and kill me because of what's happened. And basically what happened is that those women who were arrested with young boys, children, in cases that have been recorded, the boys were sodomized with the cameras rolling, and the word is sound of the police shrieking that your government has. They are in total terror. It is going to come out. And then later, here's a remark by Republican Senator Lindsey Graham. The American people needs to understand we're talking about rape and murder here. We're not just talking about giving people a humiliating experience. We're talking about rape and murder and some very serious charges.